Denis Johnson's novella Train Dreams debuted in the Paris Review in 2002 before being released as a book in 2011 and subsequently becoming a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize. Spanning the years from 1890 to 1960, the narrative unfolds in Idaho and centers on an orphan named Robert Grainier. Denis Johnson, a prolific playwright, essayist, and novelist, achieved acclaim for works such as the 2007 novel Tree of Smoke, which earned him the National Book Award. The novella delves into themes of solitude, the encroachment of modernity on the American frontier, the appreciation of a simple existence, and the tenacity to endure inherent human detachment. The story commences with 35-year-old Robert Grainier finding himself involved in the attempted assault of a Chinese laborer accused of theft from a train service in northern Idaho. As Grainier and his companions prepare to toss the worker down a 60-foot waterfall, the accused individual exhibits remarkable agility, evading their grasp and even earning applause for his nimble escape. Following this unsuccessful endeavor, Grainier purchases sarsaparilla, a type of soda, for his wife, Gladys, and their young daughter, Kate. Engaging in daring tasks alongside his railroad comrades, Grainier participates in risky missions like testing train brakes on an unfinished bridge to ensure they halt the train's advance before it plunges into the river below. He also embraces the role of a woodsman, felling trees. While he relishes his time in the woods, a seasoned tree cutter named Arn Peoples cautions him against complacency. Arn, a former miner from Arizona, recounts an incident where a massive tree, loosened from its restraints on a truck, crushed 6 horses in its path. Despite his age, Arn maintains a daring spirit and undertakes risky endeavors such as setting dynamite to clear new pathways through forests and mountains. Arn, often expected to meet his demise in the explosive blasts he orchestrates, instead meets an unexpected end when a hefty branch strikes the back of his head. Succumbing to the injury a few days later, his funeral paints a portrait of a man esteemed for his integrity and diligent labor. Despite the lumbermen's desire to properly mourn, the ongoing World War I and the demand for spruce would keep them tethered to their duties, allowing only minimal time for mourning. The novella then leaps to 1962 or 1963, a detail of minor concern to Grainier. He observes younger men constructing the highways that will crisscross the nation. Grainier's thoughts shift across time, recounting his encounter with the fattest man in the world at a fair during the 1950s, as well as a chance encounter with Elvis Presley in 1927. Chapter 3 takes us back to Grainier's childhood. Around the age of 7, he arrives in Fry, Idaho, an orphan. In 1899, the towns of Fry and Eatonville merge to form Bonners Ferry. Attending the Bonners Ferry School, Grainier gains rudimentary education before leaving at a prepubescent age. His days are filled with sporadic jobs and solitary fishing excursions. In his late 20s, Grainier's path crosses with Gladys, his future wife. Renowned for his reliability, honesty, and abstinence from alcohol, a noteworthy trait during the Prohibition era, Grainier's reputation precedes him. They meet at a Methodist church, embarking on a summer romance that blossoms into a decision to marry. However, tragedy strikes in 1920. Grainier returns home to find his property ravaged by a massive fire. Hemmed in by the slender Moya Valley, the inferno spares no one. Grainier grapples with the horrifying realization that his wife and daughter are likely among the victims. Despite counsel to avoid the charred remains, his grief compels him to navigate the desolate landscape alone. Without a trace of his wife or daughter, except for a bonnet that drifts in the wind one day, although this could have been a trick of his mind, Grainier's search proves futile. As time passes, the valley regenerates with the return of animals and the resurgence of plant life. Seasons after the devastating fire, Grainier witnesses the valley's revival into a scene of beauty once again. Determined to rebuild, he constructs a new cabin atop stone foundations. During the reconstruction, Grainier forms a bond with a Kootenai Indian named Bob. Years roll by, and the news of Bob's demise reaches Grainier. Bob's first encounter with alcohol, prompted by cunning Canadians who posed as experts during Prohibition, ends in tragedy. Believing that lemon juice could counteract the effects of alcohol, Bob drunkenly stumbles onto train tracks, falling prey to multiple passing trains. His fate remains unnoticed until crows descend upon his body. The narrative then leaps ahead 4 years, and later, 7 years, after the loss of Gladys and Kate. Nightmares continue to haunt Grainier, an enduring connection to his lost loved ones. Grainier adopts a robust male dog of northern sledding lineage, a faithful companion throughout the years. Although Grainier traverses various destinations in the western U.S., he never beholds the ocean. In November 1968, Grainier quietly passes away in his slumber. Unnoticed by the world, no one seeks him out due to his isolation. Nearly a year elapses before hikers detect a scent, prompting them to call a doctor who certifies his passing and arranges for his burial. The novella culminates with Grainier's recollection of a circus spectacle in 1935. Captivated by the sight and sound of a wolf boy howling into the distance, Grainier and the entire audience are entranced. As the memory fades, the narrator concludes the book with the words, "And suddenly it all went black. And that time was gone forever." I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.